Efforts to change government policies on euthanasia of humans in the 20th and 21st centuries have met limited success in Western countries. Human euthanasia policies have also been developed by a variety of NGOs, most notably medical associations and advocacy organizations. As of December 2020, active human euthanasia is legal in the Netherlands, Belgium, Colombia, Luxembourg, Western Australia, and Canada. Assisted suicide is legal in Switzerland, Germany, the Australian state of Victoria, and in the U.S. states of Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Hawaii, Vermont, Maine, New Jersey, California, and in the District of Columbia. On 9 May 2012, the Argentine Senate turned into law a project that enables to reject treatments that artificially prolong the life of patients with terminal or irreversible symptoms. The consent may be given by the patient or, if not in a position to do so, their relatives or legal representatives. It was promulgated on 24 May 2012 as Law 26742. The Australian state of Victoria has a law allowing physician-assisted suicide which came into effect in June 2019, with Western Australia passing a similar law in December 2019. Physician-assisted suicide and voluntary euthanasia is illegal in all other Australian states and territories. Although rare, charges have been laid for aiding and abetting the suicide of others. It was once legal in the Northern Territory by the Rights of the Terminally Ill Act 1995. In 1997, the Australian federal government overrode the Northern Territory legislation through the introduction of the Euthanasia Laws Act 1997. Unlike the states, legislation in the Northern Territory is not guaranteed by the Australian Constitution. During the brief period in which euthanasia was legal in the Northern Territory, Dr. Philip Nitske helped 3 people end their lives through assisted suicide using his deliverance machine. Organizations such as Exit International want the government to bring back euthanasia rights to Australia. Exit made TV commercials which were banned before they made it to air in September 2010. The Belgian Parliament legalized euthanasia on 28 May 2002. A survey published in 2010 reported that those who died from euthanasia were more often younger male cancer patients and more often died in their homes. In almost all cases, unbearable physical suffering were reported. Euthanasia for non-terminal patients was rare. There have been about 1,400 cases a year since the law was introduced, and a record 1,807 cases were recorded in 2013. In December 2003, the Belgian Senate voted in favor of extending its euthanasia law to terminally ill children. Conditions imposed on children seeking euthanasia are that the patient must be conscious of their decision and understand the meaning of euthanasia. The request must have been approved by the child's parents and medical team. Their illness must be terminal, and they must be in great pain, with no available treatment to alleviate their distress. A psychologist must also determine the patient's maturity to make the decision. The amendment emphasizes that the patient's request be voluntary. The first minor to be euthanized under these new regulations occurred in September 2016. In September 2014, the Federal Euthanasia Commission gave convicted rapist and murderer Frank van den Bleeken the right to assisted suicide. Van den Bleeken had served decades in prison for a 1989 crime and no longer wished to live. Over a dozen other inmates filed similar petitions. In January 2015, the Justice Ministry acknowledged that Van den Bleeken's doctors recommended against euthanasia and that alternative psychological care would be sought for him. In late 2014, a doctor administered a lethal dose of drugs to a patient after struggling with mental illness for years. Upon the patient's own request, quote, Belgium is one of 5 countries that allow doctors to kill patients at their request, and one of 2, along with the Netherlands, that grant the procedure for people with mental illness. The idea is that those with a psychiatric illness should be afforded the same rights as those suffering from a physical one. In January 2020, the Assizes Court in Ghent acquitted 3 doctors of murder charges for an euthanasia in 2010. Voluntary active euthanasia, called physician-assisted dying, is legal in Canada for all people over the age of 18 who have a terminal illness that has progressed to the point where natural death is reasonably foreseeable. To prevent suicide tourism, only people eligible to claim Canadian health insurance may use it. Legalization of the practice came in 2015-2016 as a result of a series of Supreme Court rulings striking down Canada's ban on medically assisted suicide. Below is a timeline of events. On 6 February 2015, the Supreme Court of Canada unanimously ruled in Carter v. Canada that Canadian adults who are mentally competent and suffering intolerably and permanently have the right to a doctor's